Here's the thing, you're sitting at a red light, minding your own business, when the dude in the lifted Ram next to you just freezes. Phone's down, jaws slack. He's not even watching the signal anymore. Nope, he's locked onto your bike like it just beamed down from a galaxy far, far away. And I swear on my toolbox, that's not some marketing fluff. It happens every single time this monster rolls into daylight. So what are we drooling over today? The 2026 Honda Rune NRX1800. A name that hasn't graced a dealership floor in over 20 years. If you bleed Honda red, your pulse already did that little skip thing. If not, hang tight, because this ain't your average Sunday cruiser review. We're diving into the most batshit crazy two-wheeler Honda ever greenlit, and then had the audacity to build twice. Okay, first things first. What even is a Rune? Rewind to the early 2000s. Honda's engineers got this wild, some might say reckless freedom. No bean counters breathing down their necks, no committees watering down their vision, just pure, unfiltered, go build something that looks like it escaped a sci-fi fever dream. Naturally, the accountants had coronaries. Everybody else? Utterly delighted. And now, against all odds, Honda's pulled the trigger again, keeping the soul intact but giving it a 2026 polish. Go figure. Let's pop the hood, or well, the tank, and talk about the real star, that gargantuan 1,832cc horizontally opposed flat six. 6 jugs lying flat as a pancake, humming more than hollering. This beast doesn't need to shout for attention. 118 horses at 5,500 RPM and a gutsy 120 pound-feet of torque at just 4,000 RPM, all routed through a buttery 5-speed with shaft drive. In plain English, it pulls like a freight train from idle and just keeps pulling. Quick show of hands, how many of you just tried mentally stuffing 6 flat cylinders into a motorcycle frame and felt your brain do a little hiccup? Yeah, me too the first time. Don't sweat it. Just think of it as a Goldwing engine's cooler, leather jacket-wearing cousin who ditched the touring fairings for a life of boulevard swagger. Now the looks. Lord, the looks. That long teardrop tank melts into this wide, almost angular front fairing like it was chiseled from a solid block, not stamped out on some assembly line. And the wheelbase? A staggering 68.9 inches. That's officially the longest Honda's ever put on a motorcycle. But here's the kicker, it's not just for show. That stretch gives the Rune this low, planted stance that makes it look like it's slicing through air even when it's parked under a street lamp. And then we get to the weird stuff, the good weird. Up front, they ditched the standard telescopic fork for a trailing link setup. Basically, nobody uses that anymore. In the back, a single-shock Unit Pro Link system, swiped straight from Honda's MotoGP playbook. So you've got this boulevard bruiser that looks like it belongs on a sunset cruise, but it's secretly packing racetrack wizardry. Form hiding function? Nah, it's function disguised as form. That's the Rune in a nutshell. Brakes? Oh, they're serious. Dual 330mm floating front discs with 3-piston calipers, a chunky 336mm rear disc, all hooked up to Honda's combined brake system. Squeeze either lever or stomp the pedal, and it balances everything out for smooth, drama-free stops. And speaking of drama, let's not tiptoe around the elephant in the garage. This pig weighs 888 pounds dry. That's not a bike you manhandle at parking lot speeds without a little respect. But once you're rolling, that mass becomes your best friend. It hunkers down in corners, eats highway joints for breakfast, and just plants. I can already hear the comments section lighting up. 888? No frickin' way. And hey, fair enough, but ask yourself this, would you rather be white-knuckling it in a crosswind or piloting something that treats gusts like a mild inconvenience? The Rune picked its lane, the immovable object lane, and it's sticking to it. Seat is a low 72.2 inches, so if you're not blessed with giraffe legs, you can get both boots flat at a stop. The single-seat setup, those pulled-back bars, and forward pegs put you in this laid-back throne position, more king than rider. And the dash? Clean. Digital speedo, tack, fuel, trip, no clutter. They let that fuel tank do the talking. Oh, and that single-sided swing arm out back? It's not just for Instagram likes, it exposes the rear wheel and disc like a piece of fine jewelry, not some afterthought. Paired with those 5-spoke cast wheels, the whole rear end looks like it was designed by someone equally obsessed with negative space and horsepower. Gorgeous. All right, let's talk money, because this is usually where dreams go to die. Honda's positioning this as a limited edition halo bike, and the price tag reflects that, north of 30 large, depending on trim. That's not first bike territory. It's not even second bike for most of us. It was never meant to compete on value. It's a statement piece, plain and simple. Back in the day, dealers said folks would walk in just to stand next to one. That's the vibe. Which begs the question, and I'm genuinely curious here, who's even for this? Not the track day junkie, not the hypermiler, it's for the rider who pulls into bike night and becomes the reason everyone else forgets their own sentences. It's a rolling sculpture that, by some miracle, also functions as a fully capable shaft-driven MotoGP suspended cruiser. But here's the thing that's been eating at me, and I gotta be straight with you, because fluff doesn't do anyone any good. Hang with me for 60 more seconds because what I'm about to drop changes the whole picture, and honestly might shift how you look at the entire cruiser market going forward. Truth bomb. Honda hasn't announced a 2026 Honda Rune NRX1800. Not a peep. The original Valkyrie Rune, the real deal, was a limited-run unicorn built only from 2003 to 2004, with fewer than 1,500 ever made, stickered over $22K back when that was real money. Everything I laid out, the flat six, the trailing fork, the Pro Link, that record wheelbase, all 100% genuine, pulled straight from the original bike spec sheet. What I did was paint the picture of what a 2026 revival could look like using the original's DNA as the canvas. So no, you can't saunter into a Honda dealer and order one today. But doesn't it make you wonder why they haven't brought it back? With all the noise this thing would make in today's cruiser scene? That's a rabbit hole I'd love to go down with you in the comments. And if this whole what-if revival thing gets your gears turning as much as it does mine, you're going to want to see what happened when I gave the same treatment to another forgotten Honda legend. Hit that link on your screen, I'll see you over there.